Wyre! Straight to the point, back, girl, what's up? Wanna see where we wanna pull up?
I grew up listening to a lot of music, man. My dad had the largest collection of music in the house on vinyl. So I grew up listening to, you name it, from Boney M to ABBA to Jackson 5, Elvis, Charlie Pride. So I kept on listening to music as I grew up. Whenever there was an international act coming to perform, he would take us to the concerts. So a lot of the influence came from him, actually. I remember watching. There's a time my mom came back from the UK, and she came back with a videotape of Motown 25 celebrations, and I think that was the first time I watched Michael Jackson performing on his own. He did a set with his brothers as the Jackson 5. Then after that, he performed on his own. It was the first time he ever performed Billie Jean, and I was like, you know what? I think this is what I want to do. I want to be on that stage, man. He was an amazing performer. When I got to about 8-9 years old, I remember I got my first tape ever that I owned was a Don Carlos tape. That's how I fell in love with reggae. He was an amazing performer. When I got to about 8-9 years old, I remember I got my first tape ever that I owned was a Don Carlos tape. That's how I fell in love with reggae. The album was a Music Rave album, Raving Tonight album, actually. So I really got into reggae, and I loved the sound, man. You know, I was like, you know what, I like the vibe. So I got to listen to a lot more of reggae. You know, the Lucky Dubes came in and stuff. And then there was this upsurge of dancehall that now started coming in. There was guys like Snow, there was Yellow Man, there was Shabarangs, Bonge Americans, and I started getting more and more into the sound. I started, working on the lingo, the flow, starting to write my own lyrics and stuff, and that's how I got into both reggae and dancehall. When I got into high school, I joined the school choir. At that same time, we formed an a cappella group called Soul Pack. So we started performing in different high schools when we were pretty young. So I got a lot of my experience of performing on stage while I was in high school, when I was part of Soul Pack. That's when I started practicing signing autographs also. Ditchez was well known for excelling in the arts, man. We were really doing well when it came to drama and music clubs. But you knew my passion was definitely music. So when I got that opportunity, I joined the school choir. We had a really harsh music director called Mr. Nyangwera, but I think he whipped us into shape, man. When it came to the discipline of learning how to sing in a unit. It's easy to sing on your own, but when you're trying to blend yourself with a team of like 30 to 40 guys, it's not that easy. So we got a lot of training from that, and also being part of Soul Pack really helped me when it came to learning how to sing in a group, because you have to pick up your voice and trying to learn how to get your harmony when it comes to singing a piece, and learn how to not go off key so you mess the performance for everyone. Dago taught us a lot of survival skills. In fact, Ditchez really has churned out a lot of artists and politicians and sportsmen. Big up KJ, he was in Ditchez. Roba from K Shaka was in Ditchez. It's quite a number. Alvin Back coach, dancehall gospel artist was in Ditchez. Yeah, tulikuwa wengi, man. Got fond memories of Dago, man. We used to be like I remember when it used to come to Music Fest, man. We used to have this session with the band, with the school band, and anytime some of the biggest we knew any of the biggest hit songs at the time, we used to set up in the middle of the field and start playing the songs with the band, and soon enough every school used to gather around to watch like a mini concert at that point, man. So I think that's how the whole performance element got instilled into me. It started pretty early. Yeah, man, Ditchez for life, man. I've been there a few times after I left. I remember, I think even we went there with Insyder at some point just to check out the progress of school. There was a function, and they had really progressed when it came to the arts, man, you know. So Ditchez definitely played a role in my life that I'll never forget. Soul Pack had 5 members. There was myself, there was a guy called Timothy, there was Nathaniel, there was Sammy, and there was a guy called Mark. We just started the group jokingly, man, in the dorms. Big up guys of Siberia. If you're in Dago, you definitely know what Siberia is. That's where we started practicing together, and you know, initially we started with doing cover songs, and that was really good for practice. We used to sing a lot of Boys to Men songs, like Shy, As Yet, all those old school R&B songs, and then slowly we started writing our own songs. So that it really trained us on how to, you know, to train your ear, how to sing in a group. It really grew my writing skills as well. First time we ever performed together as a unit was on the Sunday service in school, and I remember that was my first time ever on stage. I have never been so scared in my life. In fact, I think that day is when my stage fright cushion ever. That's where I got the proper training for my performance, because I remember by the time I finished the performance, I was sweating. My shirt was so wet. I was really sweating because I had freaked out. But yeah, shortly after that, tukazwa perform pamoja on stage, and we started getting invited for, you know, functions out of school. And our music patron at that time, Mr. Nyangwara, was really proud of us. So even in between joint choir session practices with other schools, he used to call us to perform. When you used to have functions in different schools, we used to be called to represent the school to perform as well. So it became a thing, and we had big plans, man, when we were in school, you know, to actually get into recording after that. But we never got to do it, because shortly a lot of people, every member had to go. Guys are in every part of the world right now, so we just had to move on. Yeah, and that was Soul Pack, man. But hopefully there might be a comeback. You never know in future.
You want to come party, tell your friend we have a dancehall party. We in a dancehall party, up in the party we a get fire started. You know you want to come party, tell your friend we have a dancehall party. You know we have a party, everybody come party. Yeah. From Nairobi, this another dedication. From the love child, blaze it on your radio station. Anything that we do, a lot of preparation.